Ever wonder how people build these massive landscapes? The answer is World Edit. It's a free plugin slash mod that can be installed into your client or server that allows you to build massive structures like these within seconds. Now, whether you're an animator, machinima maker, or a builder, if you want big worlds like the ones you're seeing now, this plugin is right for you. Stay tuned. What's up, survivalists? It's Shay from Team WNJ here. If you're new here, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and hit that bell icon to join the survivalists because the story of Levaslier is taking over by storm. If you're returning, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Make sure you leave a comment so I can remember who you are. Before we get started, let's see if we can get this video up to 10 likes. Now, with that said and done, let's get right into the tutorial where I go through every single world edit command that I use when I'm building my sets for Levaslier. If you ever get stuck anywhere in this tutorial or if you need help with world edit, feel free to type in //help onto your server or command line to display the world edit help file. When it comes to using world edit, I break it down to 3 main methods. These aren't all the methods, but these are the 3 most useful ones. The first type is selection-based world edit. This is the most basic one. It's the one where you see people using the wooden axe. The second type is the position-based world edit, where it takes your player position into account. And the final type is the brush-based world edit, where you can use a brush to specify where you want the changes to be made. I'm gonna put some time codes up in case you want to skip to each individual section. Alright, so let's get started with the selection-based world edits. This is the most basic one. Let's get started by doing //1. This is going to give us the wooden axe. The wooden axe is the main tool that we're going to be using for most world edits. Left-click on a box to select position 1. Right-click to select position 2. What you've essentially done is marked out this entire area in a big square. You can change the selection to be circles or any other type of shape, but the most common one that you'll be using is a square. With this square selected, we can run the next command, //set. Most world edit commands come with a preface // to not confuse yourself with just a single slash. After typing //set, we can specify any type of block. So I'm going to use 5. That's the block ID for wooden planks. Essentially, what this command allows you to do is completely replace a selection with a desired block. The selection stays the same after you run your command. So if I don't like the wooden planks here, I could simply set it to /set 4, and that would replace it with cobblestone. Now, if I didn't want any of these changes to occur, all I had to do is type in /undo and /undo again. Now, if I did want to keep the changes, let's say I wanted it back to being cobblestone, I could type redo twice, or alternatively, I could do undo 2 and redo 2. I believe you can undo up to 10 times and redo up to 10 times. Next up is the /replace command. So it starts off the same way. We have to set our first selection here and set our second selection there. What the replace command does is instead of replacing the entire area, you can specify a single type of block for it to replace. So let's say, for example, here we have cobblestone, stone bricks, and mossy stone bricks. Let's say I wanted to replace the stone bricks with wooden planks. I would do /replace 98, which is stone bricks, followed by what I want to replace with 5 wooden planks. You're gonna notice that it replaces every single type of stone brick there. Let's undo that. Let's say, for example, I only wanted to affect mossy stone brick. That's where block metadata comes in. If we pick block these 2 blocks and take a look at them in the inventory, you're gonna notice that stone bricks has 98-0, while mossy stone bricks has 98-1. We can express this in our command simply by doing /replace 98:1 with 5. This is only going to replace mossy stone bricks with wooden planks, for example. If we wanted to do just the stone bricks without affecting the mossy, we would specify 98:0. This way, all the stone bricks get replaced. Now, let's say, for example, that you wanted to do stone bricks and cobblestone without affecting the mossy cobble. How would you do so? You could do so by typing /replace 98:0 for stone bricks without mossy, comma 4 being cobblestone, space the block you want to replace it with, 5. This will replace cobblestone and stone bricks with wooden planks. Next up, we have the /move and /stack command. Let's say, for example, that I wanted to fill in this staircase here, but I wanted it only to be in these 3 blocks. I don't want this extra gap here. A fast way to do this is to make a selection here, make another selection there, face the direction I want to move it in, and do /move 1. If I wanted to touch and I just have a 1 block staircase, notice how there's 3 blocks in the middle. All I have to do is type /move 3. And that would move it 3 blocks in. I want to fill this blank spot with staircases. Now, I could just build it, but let's say, for example, you've got a much bigger build. What I would do is select here, select there, face the direction I want to stack it in, do /stack, and specify a number, so in this case, 2. And that just looks at the blocks that you have selected and duplicates them in that direction. So if I did /stack 6, for example, it would shoot way over there. Keep in mind, air is a block as well, so all these blocks here, they aren't nothing, they're air blocks. This quartz block over here has been replaced with air. Next up, we have the /walls command. This is a very simple one. If we make a selection here and make a selection there, and let's say we want to have walls all around us, I could do / walls 155, which is quartz. And it's as simple as that. So next up, we have / center. You'll notice that I have this big stone platform here. Let's say I wanted to find the middle, but just by looking, I can't really see where it is. Maybe I have a really big platform. Type in / center and specify a block. So maybe this time I'll do glowstone, and that will tell me where the center is exactly. Just if you're curious, if you do it on an even number, it's going to display 2 blocks in the center just because it can't find a straight up middle. So next up are the commands to make stuff look more natural. First up being /naturalize. If we make a selection here, I'll just do a left click there and a right click up here. I can run /naturalize. How naturalize works is it takes a look at what biome you're in and tries to make it as natural looking in Minecraft terrain generation as possible. It makes your top block out of grass, the next 3 blocks out of dirt, and everything underneath that out of stone. Now let's say I wanted to add some trees here. I'm going to make a selection here and let's make another selection there. Within my selection, I can create a forest by typing / forest, followed by a type of forest. So I'm going to do oak, for example, followed by how dense I want it to be packed. So let's say I want 5 trees here. Once I run that command, it's going to try to create 5 trees, but it looks like there wasn't enough space, so it only made 4. It made 1 there, and it seems like it made 3 there. You can undo this and repeat the command however many times you want until you get a forest that you think looks good. Next up, I can run the / flora command, and this is going to create some flowers and grass in my scene. You can just kind of run this command over and over and over until you get enough grass. All right, now is the time we bridge the gap between selection-based world editing and position-based world editing. We're going to use the / copy and / cut commands. I already have this thing selected, but your position is extremely important when you're running these commands. I'm going to stand on this sign and run / copy. When I paste this structure, it will paste relative to my position. I'll explain what that means in a moment. / copy and / cut works relatively the same way. Of course, if you do / cut, it's simply going to disappear. Now it's time to paste that object over here. Remember where I copied it? It's straight on the sign. I want to make sure I'm standing on the sign and then do / paste. This way it'll paste on the exact same position that I left it in. If, for example, I stand over here and I do / paste, it's going to paste in a very awkward position. Now let's say, for example, that I wanted to paste the thing here, but I wanted it to face a different direction. I could look in the direction that I wanted it to flip in and do / flip, and that's going to flip it 180 degrees. Now I have to stand at the opposite corner and run / paste. This is going to paste that exact structure, but flip the other way around. I can also run the rotate commands in case I don't even want it to face this direction in the first place. So let's undo that, do / rotate followed by an angle. Stick to 90-degree angles. So 90, 180, and 270. Don't go 45, for example. That's just not going to be very nice. So let's rotate this by 90. / paste to see where it goes. Looks like it went over somewhere strange. So let's undo that and let's paste it back on the sign. Now you see that this structure has been flipped and rotated by 90 degrees compared to the original structure over there. Next up, in case your wand doesn't work, so say for example I have to replace this entire thing, I can't select this, and then because there's nothing here, I can't just select nothing. A very useful command is the pos1 / pos2 command. Left click equals pos1, right click equals pos2. So I can left click this block because I can, but I can't do anything about it here, so I have to move my player to this position to / pos2. And it's gonna basically right click where my player is standing. Now I can do replace 155 with 4, and that's gonna replace all that with cobblestone. Next up is the replace near command. This is for if you have a really big world and you can't select everything. Replace near takes a look at where your player position is, and you can specify a radius where it will look and replace all the blocks that you specify with another block that you choose. So let's say, for example, I stand in the middle of this big stone thing and I want to replace all cobblestone near me. I can do / replace near followed by the radius. So in this case, the cobblestone isn't too far away from me. I could say radius of 10. I'm going to specify to replace cobblestone with wooden planks. So as you can see, the radius wasn't high enough. So let's undo that. Let's up the radius to say 20. And all cobblestone within 20 blocks will be replaced with wooden planks. Next up has to deal with water. So let's say I want to fill this swimming pool up with water. I can use the / fill command. Now, when you're running the fill command, make sure you're at the highest possible block. So if I want to fill this entire thing with water, I wouldn't be standing here, I'd be standing there. Let's try to stand in the middle of the area that we want to fill as well. Let's run / fill, followed by 8 and 9, which are water, followed by a radius. Let's try to go a bit overboard here. Let's say a radius of 50 blocks, followed by a depth of 50 blocks. This is going to fill my entire pool up with water. You're going to notice that this empty spot over here doesn't actually have any water because this was enclosed off. If I undo this, for example, and I crack a hole here, and I try to run that same command, it's going to fill that area up. Case in point. The next command is drain. So let's say you have a huge pool of water that you just don't want and you didn't put it in with world edit. So we could just stand within the water, stand near the middle of it, go / drain followed by radius. Let's do 50. And that's going to get rid of all the water. If, for example, you have some water in your build that's just not lining up. So let's say if you look at this, that's a full block of water and that's all going down. It just looks ugly. If you wanted to fill this entire thing up with water, you could stand near a water source. Type in / fix water followed by radius. Let's do 50. And it's going to try to fix all the water within a 50 block radius. Next up are the generator commands. So for example, / cylinder or / CYL, and the hollow version / HCYL. You can also do this for spheres or pyramids, but I use cylinders the most when I'm building towers, for example. How this works is where I stand is where a cylinder, sphere, or pyramid will be generated. I can type in / sil followed by the block of my choosing. So say stone bricks, followed by the radius. So how far out it goes. Let's say 3 blocks. How far up it goes. So let's say 10 blocks. What that will do, other than encasing me in stone bricks, is create a tower of stone bricks that's 3 blocks wide and 10 blocks up. Let's say, for example, you didn't want the stuff on the inside. Let's undo that. That's where HCYL comes in. When you're creating a sphere or a pyramid, it's the same thing. Just stick an H at the front of it, and it's going to work. So here's our command for creating the cylinder. Let's do is /HCYL, and that's going to create an empty cylinder, like so. So next up is the remove command. So this is useful when you've got like a whole bunch of blocks on your scene that you just want to get rid of, like stuff that's just lying around that it just makes things look too cluttered. Simply type in remove followed by specifications. So in my case, it'll be items because I just have a bunch of items on the floor followed by radius, let's say 50. That's just going to get rid of everything there. So let's finish off the position-based world editing with the next 3 commands. First one being / green. So let's say, for example, that you wanted all this dirt to be filled with grass, but this isn't spreading as fast as you want it to. I could stand right in the middle, so I do / green. And that would actually do it. If the radius isn't big enough, you can actually do / green 50, for example, and it would look at a 50 block radius. You're going to notice that the area that's being blocked from sunlight isn't going to be replaced with grass. So make sure that dirt blocks can see sunlight if you want them to be replaced with grass. Now, if I wanted to make it snow around me, all I have to do is do / snow. That's going to cover snow around me. Of course, you can specify radius as well as snow 50, snow 40, for example. And the opposite of / snow is / thaw. That's going to take a look at all the snow blocks around you and just thaw them out. Now we get to the more difficult area with the brushes. Brushes can be any item, not a block, that can't also be a tool. So say, for example, I can't use a diamond sword as a brush, but I can use a fish, a stick, a blaze rod, or even a diamond. All right, so I've got a few brushes in my inventory. By default, if you left click, right click, these aren't going to do anything. But with the item in your hand, type in /BR. This is the preface for brush. Now, there are different types of brushes. The first one I'm going to show you is the sphere brush. Let's type in BR sphere, followed by a type of block that we want. So let's say 103, that's melon block, followed by the radius of the sphere. Let's do 5. Now, be very careful where you're looking. I'm going to look exactly on this block and right click. That's going to create a sphere of melon around where I just looked. Now, be very careful with this. Let's say I wanted a big melon sphere around this tower here. If I right click that, you're going to notice that it's straight up replaced some of the stone bricks here, which may or may not be what you want. Let's undo that and let's make it so that it doesn't replace the blocks. All I'm going to do is give it a mask. / mask 0. What this command does is let the brush know, hey, you can only affect the block 0. What is block 0? Block 0 is air. So this brush can only change air, it can't change anything else. Now if you look, you're gonna see that the stone brick stays intact. Even if I break all this off, the stone brick has not been touched. You can also do other types of masks. So let's say, for example, I want to mask just the cobblestone here. I can do / mask 4, that's going to mask only cobblestone. Now if I click there, for example, it's only going to change the cobblestone. But I can also do / mask bigger than 4. And what this does is look for blocks on top of cobblestone. So there you go. And I can also do / mask less than 4. It will look for blocks underneath cobblestone. If I wanted to specify multiple blocks, it's as simple as before, / mask 4 155, for example. That's going to look at cobblestone and the quartz here. That's going to replace just that. If we wanted to clear the mask, we just type in / mask with nothing following it, and that's going to clear the mask. Let's take a look at what other brushes we have. Another brush we can use is /BR CYL. Like mentioned before, that stands for cylinder. Let's do 103 on 5. So what the cylinder does, it takes a look at the Y position of the block that you're looking at and replaces it with a cylinder of the block that you specify. So say, for example, I want to replace these bits of stone here with melon. I'll just do that and replace that with melon. You got to be careful with this because you can't just spam it and have it expected to go up. If I right clicked here, for example, it would only do it on this level. It wouldn't do it for the level below. Of course, you can use the mask on this as well. But the final brush I want to show you is very useful. /BR smooth, followed by the radius. So let's say a radius of 5 and the intensity of 4. Now when I right click on stuff, World Edit is going to try to smooth out its structures to make it as flat as possible. So if I go around right-clicking all around this big melon thing, it's going to try to smooth it out. So there you go. There's every single command that I use when I'm building my sets for Levaslier. If you still don't know what Levaslier is, feel free to watch episode 0 right here. This thing premiered at PAX Australia 2018. I think you'll definitely love it, so go give it a watch and tell me what you think. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe now because I've got a whole ton of content similar to this one on my channel waiting to be watched by you. Cheers!